It's game time. The Kid Gowie. Ravens Nation. All we know is purple and black. And if you're not a Ravens fan, Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, M&T Bank Stadium, where opponents don't make it out alive unless we bury them. Every team be afraid of them, especially all the quarterbacks, as our defensive linemen won't hesitate to leave you sacked. Let's take a minute, go back to Super Bowl 35. Domination was an understatement up against the Giants. Numerous touchdowns, they put up numbers, and it didn't take a nutritionist to see they hunger. Only stat Kerry Collins could get was interceptions. He must have thought throwing to the D counted as receptions. The pass was legendary, but don't sleep on the present. Our secondary make quarterbacks avoid their direction. You tryna run the ball, you better hope your blockers work. You can juke, you can spin, but your destination's the turf. This is a man's game, being soft will get you hurt. Watch the defense force a fumble and the fans go berserk. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go! They always win when the championship's on the line. So if you hoping that they failed, then you really wasting your time. Go and ask the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they remember when they made a comeback, but weren't declared the winners. 2 rings down, but you know they won't stop now. If the opposing D's caught slipping, you know exactly how that goes. That's another deep connection for 6 points in the end zone. The stadium goes wacko as Ravens put in work. Pittsburgh Steelers, that still curtain is looking more like a skirt. So tell me who they say is going to beat them Bengals. Who used to beat the Browns until they relocated? Ravens, they are one of the greatest. There's simply no denying it. To beat them, bringing your A game's a requirement. With the youth of the team, I bet they still be dominant, even after the greatest linebacker's retirement. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go!
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Sunny here with another video, another live stream. I told you guys that I was coming back with the live streams. And shout out to everybody that's been watching the videos. As I said, you know, this is draft season. I haven't made any free agent video. And as free agency takes form and all that, then I'm gonna, you know, start doing more mock drafts. The reality is mock drafts at this point are very dependent on what free agent season happens, right? But one thing that I've been working on is you know, doing some video review. So I'm doing some hours per, you know, prospect. I did Bateman. The other one that I came out with was what was the dude's name? Slater. Yeah, Slater. I did Dickerson. I haven't put the video out there, but I did my scouting on Dickerson and on Pat Beermoth or whatever. Yeah, you can see all my little notes from all these players here. As I'm watching video, you know, taking notes, ripping the page so I can do it later on. Let me go roll call here real quick. Bruno, Esana, Thomas, Justin. And by the way, Justin, yes, my Wizards, yeah, do 4-game winning streak. Hopefully, you know, they kick LeBron's ass tonight. Go Wiz. Andrew and Raven, my boy, how you doing, brother? Bruno, Donovan Jennings, how you doing, bro? Shout out to all of you. Anyway, so obviously, I mean, I think I haven't done a live stream maybe after the Super Bowl. So I think it's been 2 weeks since I did a live stream. Let me talk real quick here about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was essentially here a tale of trenches. And it's something that I do say a lot in the AFC North. And shout out to AFC North coming back next week on the 2nd of March. But trenches. It's not that Kansas City had the worst team by far, right? Kansas City's weapons on the offensive side are great. So are the Buccaneers' weapons, right? Receiver-wise and all that. But there was an O-line that was definitely better. And there was a D-line that was definitely better. And that was the difference in this game. It wasn't that Pat Mahomes was that much worse than Tom Brady, or Tom Brady was that much better than Pat Mahomes. It was that Brady had time, Patrick Mahomes didn't. That D-line from the Buccaneers came to ball out, and the D-line from the Chiefs was missing. And obviously I knew there was some sort of this. I didn't know this. It was going to be yet to this extent. I did say that, that my concern was the O-line, particularly from the Chiefs. And why am I bringing this? I said the Super Bowl was a couple weeks ago. Because it's something the Ravens need to figure out. The Ravens right now, people like to talk about receivers. And yes, my first video was about a receiver that I love, Bateman. And my second one was about a tackle that I love too, but I'm concerned about his size. And you can go back and check that video about Slater. Great prospect. And by the way, my intent with these videos are to make them short, precise, not to give you half an hour or 40 minutes deep dive, because I think it gets a little boring. It's more my thoughts and how I think they fit in the Ravens. But the reality is the O-line for us needs to be fixed. If you want Lamar to take that next step, receivers, sure, that will be amazing. But the problem also is the O-line. If I give the Ravens Hopkins, right? And I don't know. Let's say the current receiving, then you add Hopkins and I don't know, Zach Ertz, right? Oh my God, weapons galore now. But you have no O-line. It's going to be problematic. And right now, our O-line is quasi-solid, but you're going to lose Orlando Brown. Been saying this for months, right? I've been saying for months that Orlando Brown, we're going to be training it. And we're going to talk about Orlando Brown in a couple minutes. But that said, you're going to have a Stanley coming off an injury on the left tackle. Bozeman, that is kind of trashy, but whatever. He's a starter. Center, Skura was bad. McCarry wasn't great either. TCC was good in one start. Shout out to TCC. I messaged him to see if he wanted to come to the show, but he hasn't replied to me. So TCC could be. Ben Powers, a guy that I like a lot. He played well, but we'll see because they had a bad game against Buffalo. Tyreek Phillips, I didn't like him as a guard at all. I didn't like him as a right tackle at all. The Ravens didn't like him as a right tackle either because there's a reason why he was rotating with Fluker all the time. Fluker's not the greatest tackle either. So, yeah, Tyreek Phillips is, let's call it like this. If you can have, at the start of the year, Tyreek Phillips being the backup guard / swing tackle, you're in a good place. If he's your starter, still issues. And your right tackle, well, let's assume it's not going to be Orlando Brown. He's in the roster right now, but is he going to be a starter? I don't know. As of right now, doubt it, right? So let me see here. Because Caps are, becoming the Capitals. Shout out to Coach, by the way. At 9 p.m. Eastern, Coach has a collab today. Obviously, I'm not going to be part of it because it'll be 3 a.m. for me. But go check his channel. Go check it out. Bozeman kind of try. No, I don't. I'll tell how it is. Look, I think Bozeman is a serviceable guard. I think he is a serviceable guard. Is he a great guard? No, I think he's a C+ guard. That's what I think it is. McCarry has his ups and downs. I don't think he's consistent enough. And again, like I said last year, the comment that killed me with McCarry was like, I bat snap because of the noise. When you have 7,500 to 10,000 fans in that stadium. So God bless us. Hopefully by September, we're all moving out of the C stuff, right? Out of the COVID stuff. And now we're going to be getting more fans in the stadium. And if you have more fans in the stadium, Macari, what are you going to do? I think there's some promising by power. So right now, our O-line is basically you have your left tackle, which coming back of injury. Let's assume he'll be fine. And after that, okay, let's assume Bozeman is fine too. After that, for center to the right side, all are question mark. Who's your center? I don't know. Who's your right guard? Not sure. Who's your right tackle? Not sure. We have like 1,000 guards right now on this team, right? Think about Bozeman. Think about Macari is a guard, really. Tariq Phillip was drafted as a guard. Fluker, I know he's a free agent, but if he comes back, he is better as a guard. Blanking the dude's name, the guy from Michigan. And then Powers. We drafted the guy from Michigan last year. Man, what is his name? Yeah, you guys will know. Yes, the guy from Michigan. So we have like 1,000 guards. We have no tackles. None. Ben Predison, thank you. Thank you, Justin. We have no tackles. We have, right now, think about this. You have Stanley. Again, Tyree Phillips was drafted as a guard. So I'm going to discount him as a tackle. And then you have here Orlando Brown that he's leaving. And that's it. Nobody else. I mean, you have a couple, maybe one or two backups that we might have signed in the past couple of weeks and nobody knows about them. But that's it. That's your tackles. Now, interesting enough, Rick Wagner was let go. And I tweeted right away, coming home or something like that. Or should the Ravens bring him back? Or I don't know, something in the lines of that. Look, Rick Wagner is not going to be the Rick Wagner that left Baltimore, but is he a serviceable, at least starting right tackle? Maybe. But at worst, if he can be your backup, let's say you bring him and trade Orlando Brown, and you cannot figure out another better solution, he's your starter. But if you can draft the guy and plug him there, and Wagner's your backup right tackle, woo! Now you're talking about you have a legitimate starter behind Bruno in the O-line. Backup will be important this year because right now there's no depth. And not only that, Stanley is coming from a major injury. You don't know how Stanley's going to be, right? So that is important. So, saying all that, let's talk about, I promised myself that I was going to do like a little list so we know where we are. Yes, Orlando Brown. Let's talk about Orlando Brown. And consequentially, actually, I'm going to flip. I'm going to start with the Carson Wentz Stafford trades. The reality and the reason is that I've been having a lot of discussion with people like, where's the value of Orlando Brown? So let's discuss this trade. Stafford's trade was insane. But the reality is Stafford was not only 2 first-round pick. There's 2 reasons why it was so high. One, biggest reason is the team that traded for Stafford was the Rams. The Rams don't believe in first-round picks. They don't care about first-round picks. They don't want first-round picks. If you give them, I don't know, a goat that you have behind your house, they might give you a first-round pick for them. They don't care about first-round picks at all, right? That's the reality. So, by the way, am I glitching? Hold on. You might lose me for a moment here. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I left my VPN on, and I'm hoping that we are good to go. Good to go. I know I lost to you guys for a moment. Sorry, that was my bad. I forgot to turn off my VPN. Now, what happened? Again, what happened was my VPN. I turned it off. We should be good. When you live abroad, right? When you live in Europe, sometimes you have to have a VPN so you can get around certain things. Anyway, so I was saying the Stafford trade. Yeah, not only that, the Lions had to inherit that big contract from Jared Goff, which at this point is a mediocre quarterback getting paid top 10 money, right? So that's why to first round pick. Now, Wentz is a guy that was an average player, right? With a great year and a big contract. So obviously, I think that trade was a third and a possibly first, which is probably a first, which in hindsight, I think the Eagles did fairly good in that trade, to be honest. I was not expecting them to get so much. Now let's discuss about Orlando Brown Jr. Orlando Brown Jr. is a 25, right? I think is what Orlando Brown Jr. has. Euro tackle that plays in a Pro Bowl level on the right tackle side and play really good on the left tackle. And I cannot say Pro Bowl level because he hasn't. Well, he played in a Pro Bowl level, but he has not been selected to a Pro Bowl as a left tackle. I think this year he was selected to the Pro Bowl as a right tackle. Again, that's just semantics. But saying all that, you have a guy peaking. Not only peaking, this year is going to be your worst cap year. In theory, you can leave Orlando Brown Jr. You can say, look, we're going to extend you, but the cap hit for this year is going to be what you have, right? You're not going to, so you can water that, still be competitive, right? I expect for Orlando Brown Jr. to be a first round pick. The compensation meaning. And if not, EDC has failed you. Not only that, and prepare for the EDC draft. Let's think about this. How many hits has Eric DeCosta? And I have alluded to this. I know I promised you guys a 2019 video of the draft, and the reason why I didn't do it, I saw my boy Joe Newell doing it. I was like, shit, I don't want to repeat myself. I don't want to repeat some of the points that he brought out, which you can go back and watch Joe Newell's videos. I decided not to do that. I'm going to scratch it, but now we're going to talk about it. Think about that 2018, and I would love to see if I have my papers here for that draft. 2019. Yes, look, I have it here. I have it. I have all my notes. I love writing my little notes here. So I have my notes here for this EDC, right? Jacksonville is so wait. Jonathan, who is this a rumor? Who confirmed this? I think this is not great though, by the way. I think we should get more than a 33rd and a 65th. But let's talk about EDC. Let's talk about his traits. Let's at least talk about his trade. I think home run, like home run, bases loaded, grand salami, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, losing by 3-2 count, grand salami was the Peters, right? So when I say I think EDC is overrated, by the way, but I don't think he's trash. I just think people talk about Eric DeCosta as the next coming of Jesus sometimes. And I'm like, why? Ozzie Newsome was better than Eric DeCosta. Now, Eric DeCosta is in year 3, right? 3, 2. Ozzie Newsome has been amazing for decades. Now, I talk about on that video how Ozzie Newsome and the reason why the Ravens are so competitive is because 2018 was such a hell of a draft, right? It's the main reason why we're competitive. And it's beyond Lamar Jackson. It's the starters that you bring in that 2018 draft. That's huge, including my guy Bozeman. Anyway. Yes, please do, Jonathan. You can put the link here in the chat box. Fian, by the way, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining us. So, look, 2019, we traded we traded a 22nd pick to Philadelphia. That was good, right? We got a 6, I think, or 4th. Anyway, and then we got Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown is a good receiver. Don't get me wrong. Hollywood Brown is a good receiver. Is he the receiver that Lamar can take the most advantage from? Well, maybe in the future, but since he drafted, and I know he got hype, but he wasn't the best. Talk about a guy like A.J. Brown. Would have been better than Hollywood Brown. We got the Ron Brown. And I'm going to go through here. I graded this pick B minus C plus. Then we didn't have a second round pick, which Aussie didn't either. But we had 2 third round picks. So his second pick was Jalen Ferguson. Oh, let me also say the caveat that this is 2 years in their career. Usually I wait 3 years to really do an evaluation, especially for third round picks or later. I did mention that in my 2018 redrafting, repicking and all that grades. Okay. So why Soldier Girl? Shout out to you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you. Okay, so Jalen Ferguson. Look, Jalen Ferguson, a guy that got inactive on the tail end from last year. And that's something that I was calling, right? I kept saying, if you came here to the channel, I said, like, we need to active the hot war. We need to active. If you follow me on Twitter, keep saying, you need to fire, not fire, we need to put the hot war. We need to bench Ferguson. Well, eventually they did, and they did it in the right time because, and a lot of you guys were like, well, we need to develop. Yes, but when you need to win games, the development goes outside the window. You need to win games. Howard was the best. The problem is right now, I don't think Howard will come to this team. You saw those tweets and he like free Heidi and all that stuff. So who would I draft? Well, I put that grade C minus. Who would I draft? Max Crosby has been way better, same type of player. Actually, Max Crosby is more versatile because at this point, and if something that I did pre-draft said about Ferguson, I said, I don't know if he can be an outside linebacker. I do still think that Ferguson's best position is a 4-3 end and in the turf. I don't think he is an outside linebacker in a 3-5, especially as much as we require from the outside linebacker. When we drafted him, like maybe he can learn, maybe he can be like Matt Judah and learn, right? Nah. Then the next pick number 93rd, right? Third round pick, Miles Boykins. Also put a C minus to that pick. I love his tenacity. I love his blocking ability, right? They traded up to get him. They gave up a 6th round pick. I would have drafted Dawson Knox as a tight end there, right? Boykins is an average receiver. You know what Boykins has, which is super frustrating for me? I root for this dude because he looks like a legit great dude. But you know what he reminds me? He is his personality. He is the Flacco of wide receivers. He has a man. Like, dude, can you get fired up? Can you fire yourself? I thought receivers were supposed to be divas. Where's the fire? Where's the competitiveness? He's a low-key guy. Again, I've been saying that we need to move into tight end because I think he's a good enough blocker. Think about this. I started also doing a very quick review on Pitt. I didn't go in depth because I don't think Pitt will be near us to pick him. But Boykins is a way better blocker than Pitt. Pitt is a tight end, right? Pitt is Pitt reminds me a lot of none of the tight ends. Higgins, the guy that went to Cincinnati. He is more of that type. He's definitely more of a receiver than a tight end. He has more O.J. Howard in it. I'm not saying he's going to be a bust like O.J. Howard, but he has more of that. The guy that I did, which, again, I cannot pronounce his last name, even if my life depends on it, Pat Freiermuth from Penn State. This dude looks, for me, way more like a tight end than Pitt does. Not saying that he's going to be better. I think Pitt is way better catcher than this dude from Penn State. But where was it going there? Oh, Miles Boykins could be a Pitt-ish. If Pitt can be a tight end, definitely Miles Boykins can be C minus. Again, this draft right now, trash. 2019, that was the first EDC draft. Next pick. Dude, I remember when this pick was made because I got pissed, right? I was in Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania when we called Justin Hill. I can't remember right now who were our running backs, right? I know we had Gus Edwards and who knows we had? Oh, we had the Collins, right? Back then. And I was like, why? And then I saw his film. I was like, okay, do this fast as shifty, maybe, right? Well, obviously this has been horrible. Pretty good special teamers last year, but I mean, Hill didn't get cut because Mark Ingram couldn't play special teams, right? So you keep Hill. Every time, I'm gonna say this again. Every time I saw Hill, Justice Hill, on the field, even if he was not involved in the play, that play was not gonna work. That's not gonna work. It was like it was jinx. Who would I pick here? Put inside linebacker Dre Greenland. Okay. Next pick, another 4th round pick. This pick I like. But right now he hasn't played until later last year. So benefit of the doubt, this could be a good pick. Ben Powers, you know, he looked promising at the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll definitely see. Justin, yeah. So that's why we can't. I don't know why, you know, you're saying that comment, but you cannot just see highlights. Not the end of the word. yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Okay, next pick. Oh, next pick. This was the pick that I criticized the most, by the way. Imam Marshall. Injuries have just, you know, completely decimated his. I mean, he hasn't been able to play, but I didn't like him coming out of USC. I was not a fan of him. I thought he was not great. Right now, think about our corner room, right? Think about our corner room. You got the big three and Tavon Young. So you can theory say big four, but Tavon Young has been injured lately, right? And then you get Averett, way better than Imam Marshall, right? So that's fine. And then Imam Marshall might not make the team next year. And then Dylan Mack was a guy that people had. He was a 5-star recruit from Texas A&M, but never performed well in college. I remember people were like, "Oh, Gerald Willis." Remember we got the Gerald Willis as the undrafted. Oh, Gerald Willis. So like, well, they drafted Mack. I'm sure Mack will make the team over Willis. I made the team. He's not on the team anymore. That was a bad pick. And Trace McSorley, a decent, solid backup. That could be also one of his best picks in this draft. This draft in 2019 was pretty trashy. One of the reasons we're not progressing in the skill position. How many starters are that? Well, you got Hollywood Brown as the starter and maybe Ben Powers, maybe. Again, we'll see. But this is what 2019 was not a great draft. Now, I said his best play overall was what? Peters. Let's talk about this now. Yannick Ngakoue trade. I said in the time, you can go back and check. Actually, you can go back a year and a half when I was calling for Calais Campbell. People say, what about Yannick Ngakoue? Because he was in the Jacksonville Jaguars at that moment. I said, well, I don't know how good a fit he is. Yannick Ngakoue looks, again, similar to Ferguson, a guy that it thrives in a 4-3 system. Let me go get that quarterback. But that's not what the Ravens wanted him to do. Ravens said you need to be a 3-4 outside backer because in our system, if I kick you as at the end, you're gonna be kicked inside. You're not that big of a dude to be kicked inside. So with us, he got 5 sacks before us. He got 1.5 after us, and he played more games as a Raven than he did as a Viking, but it didn't fit. So we gave up a 3rd-round pick for a rental that we're not gonna keep because he's not a fit, and he probably wants a lot of money for not being a fit. So that's an L over there on the EDC side. There was another move that I want to discuss that he did. I thought the Matt Judon tag was not great, right? That was a lot of money in the cap that we could use to pick another player. But whatever. Oh, yeah. So Calais Campbell, I thought that trade was great. 5th-round pick for Calais. What I don't think it was really good for all the player. We paid $15 million per year for a guy that was later in his career. Usually when you bring a guy like Calais Campbell, right, you're like, dude, you're looking out for a Super Bowl. You that's what you want. You want to contend. We're building towards that. But I need to shave some of that money, right? Because, Calais Campbell's 36. We need to shave some of that money. So now we can, allocate and put more players. That didn't happen, right? So right now, you have Calais Campbell as a 36-year-old, maybe 37, one of the top 5, top 6 players in your cap. That was surprising, right? We traded 5th round pick for Calais, great. The money we gave him, questionable. So you go back and say, where's EDC's move? And as fans get excited about any trade. So I'm not gonna say, oh man, but you were excited. No. As a fan, I know. We get excited. Any trade, we get excited. By the way, I'm gonna be taking calls soon. So if you wanna call, no cussing is the only thing. Try not to cuss. Where's my thingy? What are you doing? Oh, here you go. There you go. If you want to be in the show, please text. I cannot stress this enough. Please text 443-292-2337. 443-292-2337. Okay? Just try not to cuss when you're live. I know sometimes I do cuss. And we have a Raven here. Keep it clean. Try to keep it clean. So anyway, anybody who wants to call, if you never call, just text. Your number won't be on the screen or anything. I'll call you back. Okay. So EDC, again, I'm not calling EDC trash. I'm not saying for sure. I'm not saying fire EDC. I think EDC is a good draft, a good GM, because the reality is, if now I forward to one more year, 2020 looks like a solid draft. Patrick Queen looked fairly good this year. J.K. Dobbins, although I disagree with the draft pick, looks solid. Amarabike looks solid. And after that, Tyre Phillips, I think it was a disappointment, and I didn't understand that draft pick. And even more than that, after drafting Tyre Phillips, I had no idea why he dropped Bredesen. It looks like, I'm trying to remember if there was any good picks after Maravike. Because there was Washington, that was a bad pick too. It looks like after Maravike, no, wait, because I do like Duvernay and I do like Harrison. But to be fair, they didn't do shit this year. So we'll see what both of them can do. But again, if you want to say, Sonny, what is your grading card? 3rd round picks or later, first year, make the team. Second year, make plays, try to see how you can push a starter, even if you cannot start. 3rd year, if you don't start, that's where I'm discounting you, right? Now, like if Ferguson next year Ferguson has no competition right now. We have no outside linebackers, just Ferguson. So whoever we bring, if Ferguson's not a starter, which I'm not anticipating he will be, Ferguson ain't it. Oh, wait. Hold, give me a second. I see that some of you already been texting. Okay, so saying that EDC, if you're gonna talk to me about EDC as being one of the best GMs, right? Because this Ravens talk about EDC like one of the best. One of the best GMs should know. We have the quarterback, the future, right? And I criticized Lamar when I had to criticize, but what do I need for him to get better? Good old line, weapons. Am I providing that? No. To be honest, I'm okay for them to sign spending all the money on defense if they will draft all offensively. But again, think about this. J.K. Dobbins, I know you guys love J.K. Dobbins, but was that the right pick? He played good. But a Denzel Mims would have been better for us. Taking those 2 second round picks. trading up, getting a Michael Pittman. Wouldn't that be better for us? T. Higgins would have been better for us, especially when all our wide receivers are smaller, minus Boykins. And Boykin ain't that guy. Wouldn't that be better for us? As a GM, as that GOAT, if he's that guy, shouldn't he notice that? He used to be a scout before he was GM. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so I have a couple of you guys here. So let's start with this calls. Hopefully you can hear it on the other side. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear this.
Hello?
Hey,
Greetings.
how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
So you call, what do you want to talk about, bro?
Well, about free agency, because we're getting closer to March. Well, somewhat.
Oh no, we are. We're 8 days, so a little bit over a week.
Yep. Well, now I understand that there's going to be a lot of free agents that the Ravens want to keep. Like, in my opinion, here's the thing with me. If we're not going to, I know Matt Judon, he's gone. But if we're not going to keep Ngakwe, either you need to find a replacement for him in free agency. And I know this might be a stretch, and I'm not sure if, well, Ravens fans or you don't want him, but I think if out of anyone, I think maybe we get Clowney on a cheap deal. I know he didn't have the best year in Tennessee, but he's still a good pass rusher. The man can get pressure, and maybe if he can help the defense a little bit.
Yeah. So Clowney could be a possibility. Clowney plays more that typical outside backer position. He can play that. He can play the hand in the dirt, standing up. The problem with Clowney is health, right? So if you bring Clowney is not going to command a lot of money because of health. Think about Tennessee. Was he better? Did he make Tennessee's D-line better when he was there? Yeah. But the problem is after week 6 or week 7, he was out for injury. By the way, correction here, Calais Campbell was 34. This is what happens when your life's still old for 50 mil. Anyway, so yeah, is Clowney a possibility? Yes. Is he dependable? Would you be able to depend on him?
Sometimes maybe use him on pass rushing downs. Another option could be Ryan Kerrigan. Like, he could be cheap.
Yeah, isn't he on the contract? Let me see.
No, I think he's a free agent this year. Because, well, let's be honest, Washington's got 2 young pass rushers.
Yeah, they
won't re-sign him.
I agree. No, Kerrigan will be better. Kerrigan's more dependable. Kerrigan is, yeah, he's a free agent. Kerrigan is more dependable. Kerrigan, definitely. If you tell me Clowney and Kerrigan, I'll take Kerrigan for sure.
Fair enough. Now, also, again, now, I do agree with what you're saying about Eric DeCosta. About they need to put a lot. They need to put a lot of Lamar because he's our franchise quarterback, and I believe he can win us a Super Bowl. But he has DeCosta has to be aggressive this free agency. Like, the biggest example of a GM being aggressive, well, what happened last year is what the Bills did for Josh Allen. They got him Stephon Diggs, and look what happened. Like, he was in the end. Josh Allen's in the end. You got people saying Josh Allen's in the MVP conversation, and not only that, he was stepping up in the playoffs where no one else wasn't. And also, you could say Arizona when they got DeAndre Hopkins, but that's like Houston being dumb.
Yeah, that the D-Hop one. Look, the reality is Buffalo gave up a lot for Diggs, and I mean it paid off for them. I think, and this is something I mentioned before. I think at some point I had to do a video. I think the Browns, the Ravens, and Buffalo have a big decision to make because all three of these quarterbacks are gonna get top tier money, top 5 money, and all three quarterbacks have holes in their games. And as you have the money right now, because all three quarterbacks are cheap, you can build great teams around these quarterbacks. But, for example, when Baker gets paid, there's gonna be lagging. So that defense right now lacks because that offense has all the money. But when the Baker gets paid, you will see some diminishing results for the Browns. When Lamar gets paid, the same thing will happen. And when Josh Allen gets paid, the same thing will happen until all these quarterbacks get more polished. And all three had different problems in their game. You will see problems happen. Now, the thing with Lamar Jackson, of all these three, especially since he's our quarterback, we can talk about him a little bit about him. He is such a mismatch problem that he can still shade some of his problems, but the team in general will get weaker. This is when you need a guy. Not you need a guy. You need EDC to draft well, because when you pay Lamar Jackson $35 million, your cap's gonna deteriorate, and now you have to draft out. Alson Houston went through this too. When he paid Flacco and he couldn't get the right receiver straight, we went through this problem too. Question is, that was right after a Super Bowl. Question is, will we be able to shade and bring the talent once Lamar Jackson gets paid? Again, this is the same problem that Buffalo will have and Cleveland, right? In the Kansas City Chiefs dilemma, they don't have it as much because Pat Mahomes is a pretty polished quarterback. He doesn't have too many flaws. But you see that defense not being the greatest because, again, Pat Mahomes takes a bunch of that contract. And that contract is not bad yet because they defer a lot of the money. As the contract for Mahomes gets bigger than the cap number, you will see some problems. Anything else before I let you go, since I have a couple of people behind you?
Well, my personal opinion, everyone wants to get Allen Robinson, which is a pipe dream, but I feel like the best option is to get, Tyrell Williams from, Oakland when he gets cut, Las Vegas when he gets cut, and I would say maybe Corey Davis, and add another tight end in free agency, maybe a Zach Ertz.
A tight end will be nice.
Huh?
A tight end will be nice.
Like if you get Terrell Williams and Corey Davis, put Marquise Brown in the slot, that would be a good combo.
Yeah, to be honest, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of Corey Davis. I think Corey Davis needs a number one for him to be a decent receiver, and we don't have a number one.
That's why bringing no receiver with him like a Terrell Williams. And
he's gonna want to get paid big money. In the case,
yeah, not with that. True, but I don't think he's not going to get that much money for number two.
Yeah, but he's coming from, like you said, a solid year, so a team might pay.
But how much is that thanks to AJ Brown? Like if he becomes the number one receiver for a team, he won't be able to make those big numbers or catches.
Yeah. So something for everybody. As soon as a player makes a free agency, that might usually, not always, usually that means more money. That's it. But yeah, Corey Davis, I'm not in love with Corey Davis for this team. He's tall, but he's like tall, but not, in my opinion, he doesn't use his body well enough or consistent enough for the type of receiver that I would prefer.
Fair enough.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, if we're going the offensive line, I would say the best option at center is to get, Alex Mack. Like he's up there in age, but he's pretty solid and cheap. Maybe for maybe 2-year deal.
He can be a bridge center, right? He can definitely be a bridge center. I didn't scout him from last year. I would lie to you if I said I saw him playing last year. I knew from before when he played in the Browns, and then he went to Atlanta, and he was solid.
Okay.
But he can be a
And
bridge.
another option is, well, for the defense, I'm sorry, I'm still not a big fan of Elliott. I'd rather put Deshaun Elliott, I'd rather put him in the Anthony Levine role, which is hybrid linebacker and safety, and go get maybe a rangy safety like a Malik Hooker or Tashawn Gibson. Those guys could be cheap.
I agree.
Yeah, but I'm going to take my leave because I'm pretty sure you got a lot of people calling.
I have 4 more behind you, but that's okay, man. Thank you for always checking in. Okay.
No problem.
Take care, bro.
Peace.
And by the way, guys, thank you. Jay Will, by the way, shout out to you. Thank you for that donation. If EDC would have pulled off the D-Hop trade, I would have been higher on him. Hey, everybody would have higher on him. Okay. Who do you have online? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
What's up, Sonny?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
How you doing, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So, what do you want to talk about? Free agency, draft? What do you want to talk about, bro?
Probably draft. I've been looking at Coach Evans' video on different wide receivers,
Okay.
and so I recall a conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago where you said you were recommending Bateman.
Bateman. I like him.
But I feel like you brought him up, and I finally got to see some film on him, and I agree with you 100%.
Bateman is that receiver. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm thinking, I don't know what he's ranked on the draft board, but I think if we can get him at a second, that would be an absolute steal.
He ain't gonna be a second round pick. He's gonna be. I think he is between 15 and 25. I think that's somewhere there.
They got that one. I can't recall the names exactly, but they got like 3-4 other people ranked ahead of him. And
Yes.
CD Lamb, for example, they dropped down to like 17. So I mean, I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, I doubt second round. It could be a first. You know how he can be in a second round and somehow his pro day doesn't go well because speed usually sells, right? Speed sells for wide receivers. This dude will not overwhelm me with speed, right? He won't be clocking, in my opinion, at least with the film that I saw, he won't be clocking a 4.3 40. But what this dude has is strong hands. Oh my God, beautiful hands. This dude, how he catches the ball is what I would like all these damn receivers to catch the ball. He just snatches the ball before his body and then brings him in, right? And route running ability is great, and he can break tackles, right? If somehow, let's see, the problem right now is O-line for me is a concern. If for some reason we can fix the O-line pre-draft, then great. Then we can see a Bateman, and I have a video of the tight end that I cannot pronounce his last name from Penn State. Dude also looks really good. But Bateman is the type of receiver we don't have and we need, right? That is the receiver we're missing. A guy that is 50-50 guy, fight for the ball, can make plays, strong, block, effort, a dog. Yeah, I think he can be. I mean, dude is really good. I love Bateman.
Yeah, man. I think he can. I think he could be that number one wide receiver that we're looking for. And then hopefully with the new positional coaches, it might hopefully we can start developing them. I don't know. It'd be a big if.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I want them, but at this point I had not a lot of faith in. I see the problem right now is I think Hollywood Brown's a good number 2, right? And Boykin is a good rotation guy at best. I think we should kick him as a tight end. And then after that, Dumerville, you don't know what he is. I don't think he's a number one. Although I love Duvernay, I don't think he's a number one. I don't think Prochet is a number one. So you get a bunch of B2C receivers that if you have a through number one, now all these guys get elevated. The problem is you don't have a true number one. So all these guys underperform, and you can see it because when you get a true number one, then Hollywood, instead of getting the best corner in the other team, gets the number two corner in the team, right? Instead of Duvernay getting the number two corner, he gets number three, and so on and so forth. So that's why, in my opinion, you need that guy. You need that guy.
And I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to get him in free agency because we got a lot of people who are trying to sign up. We're trying to retain, and then the whole question about the edge. So I mean, like, I feel like if we can keep maybe like 2 out of the 4 that are leaving, I think that'd be great. But then at the same time, that also takes away from the cap. Ideally for myself, I mean, this might be an unpopular opinion. I would want to keep Pernell McPhee and Bowser. I think those two will be the cheapest ones.
Yeah, not only the cheapest one, Per McPhee in a limited basis is a great pass rusher. And Bowser does all the dirty work that nobody wants to do and doesn't get acknowledged enough. So I think Bowser plays that outside linebacker role that the Ravens love. If you fusion those two players that you brought up, if somehow Bowser can be as good as a pass rusher as McPhee is, but with his rest of his intangible, he will be a Pro Bowler. His pass rushing ability it lacks, but the rest is really good.
I think there's a possibility for him to like develop that. He's still very young, so there's a possibility. It's not out of the realm of question.
He's still young.
And I think with the draft, I'm guessing maybe we'll try. I don't like to try to pick targets for positions for draft, but I think maybe that might be interesting in the 3rd round.
Maybe, yep.
And I think maybe with that might be sufficient to address the edge. I saw 410 Sports are bringing up the idea of possibly Rick Wagner coming back and replacing Orlando Brown Jr. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, because I did tweet about it, I said, like, we'll see. Wagner's older now. I think if you bring him and he can be your backup, that's amazing. He can be serviceable. He's not going to be expensive. The one thing is, you have 2 different theories here, right? For O-lines in the free agency market, it's going to be very, very, very... They're hard to get, but also Baltimore's an attractive job because as we run more, O-line players love running the ball. On the other side, if you think about receivers, probably don't want to come here because we run the ball more. They ain't about that life of blocking. They want to catch the ball. So I think Rick Wagner, I think he should be and probably will be interested in coming to Baltimore. And I think it's a good position for the lineman. I think lineman probably would love to come to Baltimore. We'll see as he's older. 1 year cheap deal doesn't hurt. At worst, you make him compete, and if not, he can be the backup tackle, or if he's a starter because he won the job. Because right now, again, like I said, Tyreek Phillips right now, what is he? He's nothing. He ain't a guard. He ain't a tackle. Maybe if he sits down, maybe he can learn technique and he can be that guy. But right now, he is not that guy.
I'm gonna make a terrible joke and say he could be a fullback. Terrible joke.
He carried the ball well.
Yeah, he did that. So I mean, I don't know if there's anything else I want to talk about. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it because right now I'm about to head over to Rockville.
Ooh, okay.
So thanks for having me on the show as always. Great show. I don't get to see you as often as I would like to, and I know why, but it'd be kind of nice. Also.
I know. I know I'm pushing these live streams early because for me right now it's about to be 11. So yeah, man. So sorry.
No, it's not the time. It's just like I don't know. I think I prefer if you were able to do maybe another video during the week. If I don't know if you can fit that in your schedule, but that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. So with the AFC North talk coming back, what I've been concentrating now is you will see more and more videos of the draft prospects, short videos. By the way, guys, if you can do me a favor, every time you see one of my videos, comment below. That helps me rank the videos. But yeah, so I'm trying to push more of those, and between film study, between the AFC North, and trying to do live streams on this Mondays, it's just a lot.
No, I completely get it. One of my friends used to do YouTube as well, so I completely get it.
But hopefully,
I'm gonna go ahead and have to bounce, unfortunately.
Okay, no, take care, bro.
Take care.
Okay, so we have a couple people here. I'm trying to fit everybody here in this hour slot.
Hello?
Hello?
Who's this?
It's SCG. Isn't this Marty?
Oh! I'm sorry.
You're live.
Oh, really?
You're right.
What? Hello, everybody.
So,
you doing?
one thing that you should know, because I don't have producers, right? Not only for you, I'm talking to everybody. I have no producers, nothing. It's just me, myself, and I. That's why sometimes you see me typing. That's why I want you guys all to text, because usually if you call a radio station, you get a producer, he puts you in a queue, and then somebody hits a button, you're live. And here, when I call you, it's because you're live. Anyway, how you doing, bro?
I'm great. Thank you for taking my call. I wanted to talk about EDC, Eric DaCosta.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier some stuff about the draft. I just wanted to revisit these past couple of drafts, 2019, and then even last year too. Because in 2019, I don't know if the draft, he didn't really get too much return on investment with that draft. So we're gonna talk about that. That's first and foremost. You ready, Sonny?
Go ahead, bro. Floor is yours.
All right, let's go. All right, so 2019 draft class. Started off with Hollywood. Hollywood, okay, he been cool. But then the third round pick, Daddy, he ain't been nothing. So we still working on that. I know you said you take 3 years, but yeah, it's been a big yikes.
So let me clarify. I do take 3 years, but at this point, I would have want to see more progression out of him, which I haven't seen.
Oh yeah, for sure. You a third round pick, and you got guys that got traded for. I know Yannick Ngakoue got more name and game than Jalen Ferguson, especially at this point in their careers. But yeah, Ferg ain't really been nothing much at all. It's been rough. And then Miles Boykin, we still waiting on that. That's I don't know, man. I'm hoping the best for my boy Miles Boykin. But we'll see. And then Justice Hill, again, another story where they got him, and he's just there. I know he's on special teams and stuff, and I know every running back can't get the ball, but it's like with Justice Hill, just ain't been much of anything so far. And like with the way that I see a lot of these draft picks, is that, say for instance, if you didn't have that draft pick, say for instance, we go back to the draft, and the Ravens didn't even have, like, for instance, you take Jalen Ferguson, for example. If they didn't have that first round pick, pick number 85, they didn't have anything, and they didn't draft him at all, would we be missing anything from the team? And I would say no. If they didn't have that fourth round pick 113 with Justice Hill, would we be missing anything from the team? And I would have to say no, unfortunately. And I like Justice Hill, but again, I was about to say Ben Marshall. Eamon Marshall, that's another one. He got hurt last year, so that's a little different. But then even when you look at, well, he would have got playing time last year. He was healthy because literally the cornerbacks got hurt. That was rough.
They cut him. They cut Dalen Mack.
Mm-hmm.
So there was another one. If you never drafted Dalen Mack, would that have hurt your team this year? No. Trace McSorley, yeah, that would have hurt your team because you would have been. I mean, they went to RG3. That was I know there was a lot of people who did not like RG3, man. And I was like, no, you got to give RG3 a chance. He got a shot. He's a professional. He done been here before. And yeah, that got a little ugly in that Steelers game with RG3. But yeah, the return of the investment with these guys with these draft picks from 2019, it hasn't been big so far. Hollywood's obviously had the biggest impact, but besides Hollywood, I mean Ben Powers too, but Hollywood, we ain't really got much of anything, man. And it's pretty sad, man. When it's just your first round draft pick is the main or really the only one that's really contributing. That's pretty bad, man. And then for past year, the jury's still out. It's been a bit more of a contribution than the 2019 draft, in my opinion, 2020 draft. And these guys were rookies. Like J.K. Dobbins obviously had a huge impact. Devin Duvernay, I hate how they use Devin Duvernay. They just use him for jet sweeps and kick returns, and that was it, which was frustrating. But they did get a little bit of return on investment on him. Tyree Phillips, guard, tackle, they had him all around, so they definitely got investment on him. And with nothing with Ben Bredesen, he was inactive all year. Broderick Washington was inactive for like 95% of the year. James Prochet, he got like 2 catches, I think. 2 catches or 1 catch?
Maybe. Because even they bench him right at the end of the year. They said like, okay, this is not.
Yeah, they put him. They had him on the active list for the last like four games, last 4 or 5 games, something like that. And then Geno Stone got cut. So this draft, again, they are still rookies, but with this draft, you haven't really gotten much return on the investment either so far. But again, with this draft, it's going to be a little bit harder to judge. Why they don't have Patrick Queen on this list? But I don't know why they're missing Patrick Queen, but he obviously had a big impact. But with this list is going to be hard to judge because of the off season that it was with the whole C19 going on and whatnot. So but I don't know with Eric DeCosta, I know you touched on it earlier. You feel like he is a bit overrated, and I do agree. He's made some nice moves, made some nice trades.
Yeah,
but the team has still failed to utilize. They still 2 things. They failed to provide better weapons for Lamar Jackson and his Ravens offense. And then on top of that, they failed to utilize the weapons that they do have. And that's obviously with coaching. That's something with Lamar too. But your coaching, the coaching that you have in place is they don't have a really good track record with utilizing their weapons, and especially when it comes to the receivers. When running backs, them running backs, they're going to be utilized. We already knew they were going to get there. But when it comes to your weapons, your wide receivers, it's not looking too good. And that's what I mean, too. I agree. I know you said that you didn't have the most confidence in this offense moving forward this year. I feel the same way. I feel like the running game is going to be just fine. I ain't worried about the running game. I know Ravens, they probably going to run for like 4,500 yards and probably run for like 50 touchdowns. But as far as the passing game, taking that next step, that's what I'm worried about too. Because I was worried about that from last year. Before this past year even started, I was hoping that they were going to take a jump. But they didn't. Not much.
I agree. Shout out to you, Raven. At the you change your voice at the beginning, and then you start slowly going back to your voice.
Let me stop messing with my guy, Sonny. I'm gonna stop messing.
I don't know, but I love when you call, bro. I love when you call. But look, I agree with everything you said there. And like I said earlier, I'm not trying to say EDC is a bad GM. I just think people have this perspective of EDC like he is one of the greatest GMs of all time. Like, first of all, the dude has done it only for 2 years. And if we take just a step back and look at all his moves, it is good that he's aggressive. I think people appreciate that. He's more aggressive than what Ozzy was. That's I think people do like that. But he has swung and missed more than he has connected. So that is also true. So both things can be true, right? Aggressiveness, I like it too. And think about last year, he tried to get for D-Hop, and not only that, he tried to trade up for CeeDee Lamb. So you can see that he's trying to make move, but he has been on the shortest stick of the moves more often than not. So it's something that, moving forward, we have to look at it. We have to see how EDC is. Because another problem that I have, which I forgot to mention, what is Lamar's favorite target? He likes the middle of the field, and it's those tight ends, right? So we traded we traded Hurst, right? Hayden Hurst. And because we have our private chat, that I was never a fan of that move. I didn't like it. I said this before they traded him. By saying that, if you lose Hayden Hurst, you would think, okay, Lamar likes that middle of the field. Let me bring another tight end because injuries do happen. No, we go with 2 tight ends, only 2 in the active roster. I like Pat Ricard, but Pat Ricard cannot run. He's a heavy dude. He cannot run routes. He is a heavy dude. So he's good for the flat. He's for the occasional, block and release. But he ain't about that life.
Real quick, with you speaking about Patrick Ricard, they even this is why I'm still scared. I'm hoping that I was about to say Higgins. What's the guy we just brought in? Keith Johnson. I forget his name. But anyway, with the wide receiver coaches that we brought in, I'm really hoping that they figure out how to use these guys the way that they're supposed to be used. Because there's nobody in their right mind. People wouldn't even do this in Madden. There's nobody in their right mind that should ever be put in Patrick Ricard. We love Patrick Ricard, but there's nobody in their right mind that should be putting Patrick Ricard in the slot. No. They put the guy in the slot this year. And I remember when they had him out there, I was thinking, oh, okay, Lamar's about to motion him, about to come back to behind Lamar, whatnot, block for the running back. Okay. No, he was there in the slot. They ran a passing play from the slot with Patrick Ricard from the, and I was like, oh, gosh. What are we doing?
And that's, again, the problem is when you brought no depth as a tight end, as soon as you lost Hayden Hurst, you had to go figure out another tight end, either in the draft, let's say you drafted a guy, or in the free agency, right? And especially what happened was once then Boyle got injured, now we panic and we start bringing these random tight ends that, Thomason was okay as your tight end 4, right? Wilson, you can in theory say that he cost you a game, right? He dropped that beautiful touchdown against who was the Steelers, right?
Yep.
So this is why in this offense, specifically in the Ravens offense, you should always have 3 tight ends. 3 tight ends, because Lamar likes the middle of the field, especially if they can block well. Lamar likes the middle of the field. And if they can block, you can essentially have them in every play and then you can create a mismatch. Are they staying to block? Are they going to block and release? Are they going to split wide because they have a favorable match? You need 3 tight ends in this offense. So when we decided, and again, this is our ADC, to bring 2 good tight ends, don't draft any, don't bring any good veterans, and then get 2 tight ends on the undrafted side, one that was injured before he got here, the guy from Oregon, and then Eli Wolf, a guy that I wasn't a big fan of from Georgia. I'm not saying for all you guys, I'm not saying EDC is trash. I'm not saying EDC is bad or we need to fire him. I'm just telling you guys, you need to know EDC is not the next coming of Jesus as a GM. You bring it down. He is okay. Right now, if you say Sonny Gray EDC, I think he is a C+ to B- GM. That's roughly where he is early in his career. We'll see what he does this year. But he is in a crucial moment right now because he got a lot of free agents, a lot of big-time decisions, not only on money-wise. And if he ends up paying Lamar Jackson, which we expect, and Mandrews, right? Now, drafting is going to be critical. If he keeps swinging and missing, this team is not going to compete, and it's going to be a mediocre. It doesn't matter how good Lamar Jackson is, because he needs more pieces.
Yeah, man. That yeah, cause Ravens they never really have money like that, and even though right now it quote unquote looks like they got a little bit of bread, the way that everything's set up, they got a lot of guys that are free agents. Like every one of their pass rushers are free agents, all of them.
Oh,
Wolf, Yannick Ngakoue, Judon, Bowser, Fennell McPhee, Jihad Wolf, all of them boys are free agents. So you got some big decisions to make with that. With that Calais Campbell move that you were talking about earlier, that one had me scratching my head a little bit. When we first traded for him, I was with it. I was with it, and it was like one of those moves that almost you expected to have. You felt like it was just a perfect move for the Ravens to make, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna happen. I was like, oh, maybe it makes sense, but even though something makes sense, it doesn't always go down. But it happened. But then when they extended him, and what is it, 15 per range?
15 per year. Yep, it's 15 per year.
I was like, oh, okay, but he's coming. And I've seen some stories talking about, Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams, they could be cap casualties. Those dudes ain't getting cut. Ain't no way they cut either one of those two dudes. They done restructured Brandon Williams like 50 million times.
Yeah.
So they probably got about 50 million in cap space pushed back to later years. If they cut him, that would mess them up bad. And then Calais Campbell, he only got one year left on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Calais Campbell too. Like, it's one thing if it was a player that's a team leader, but he wasn't doing anything on the field, like a Mark Ingram. That's why they cut him. Like a Tony Jefferson recently, that's why they cut him. Mm-hmm. Eric Weddle, that's why they cut him. But Calais Campbell been a leader on the field, and he been playing good on the field. He made a big impact this year.
I agree.
So yeah, man. So I don't see him or Big Baby going anywhere.
No.
But
to be fair, look at this.
Sonny.
Look at this before you go. Calais Campbell is the highest cap number this year coming out currently, and that is big, right? He's 34. Is again, for me, I was shocked that they gave him that big of extension. Usually a guy in his later part of his career, getting to a contending team, you bring him and you say, look, this is going to be the money because we want to contend and we can bring more players, right? Right. And it's not that. Right now, Big Baby, the problem Big Baby is not his salary. His cap number is big because they keep, like you said, restructuring. His cap hit is 14.4. It's the third. So between Calais and Big Baby, you have two of the top three. The number 2 is Ronnie Stanley, if he just got paid. Anyway,
right.
Thank you, Ray. I know you're doing a bunch of stuff. Always appreciating you calling, bro.
Oh, ain't nothing. Appreciate you opening up the phone line, doing the live stream. So thank you. Shout out to everybody in the comment section in the live chat. Love y'all. Love you, Sonny. Shout out to the wife and your kids. Tell them that we say what's up, man.
Okay, man. No problem. Take care, bro.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Always good to having Raven here. I don't know what this thing here is. Anyway, shout out to YPC Dro. Bateman makes a lot of plays in the middle of the field. I agree. Okay, so let me take here the last call. I'm gonna make it quick. I tried to make this around an hour, but you see, as soon as I open phone calls, it's awesome, right? Because I'll let you guys talk. I try to make them short, but I do let you guys talk because I love to hear your perspective. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, bro, how you doing?
Doing well. Having a great Monday. Listening to the live stream.
I'm glad. Thank you, and shout out to everybody that has been here. Before, make sure you hit that like button. Okay, so you said here when you texted me you wanted to talk about the wide receiver situation.
Yes, so I think you really hit the nail on the head earlier. We were talking about kind of free agency, offensive line versus wide receivers. And really signing a guy like Marvin Jones or Corey Davis for the money that they would take, it's such a significant chunk out of our cap. We wouldn't really be able to bring back any guys on the edge. And I think the selection really of the free agent wide receivers this year is not comparable to the selection of free agent like offensive linemen. And you were saying earlier we're really appealing to linemen because we're so run heavy. I think that's definitely true, and linemen will definitely want to come play in Baltimore before receivers will.
Yeah, look, I want to, right now, to be honest, the easiest way to fix a lot of the situations that we have for this team is try to see if this is why Wagner makes a lot of sense. Right? Again, we now like have like 1,000 guards. But in free agency, try to find the guard, the old line, right? Let's say if you really got Thuney from New England, if you think Mac is the center that you need, right? Maybe to keep a year more, and then TCC can take over. And then let's say you bring Wagner. So essentially, you can have Stanley, Bozeman, Mac. Let's say if you want to pay Thuney, which that would be a lot of money, but that's a guard. Then you have him in the right guard, and then you have Wagner. That's a completely different O line, right, from last year, but way better. And then you can say, okay, now I can go ahead and draft. And let's say you trade Orlando Brown Jr., and now you have 2 first-round picks. Well, now you can use one on a pass rusher, and you can use the other one on the receiver. Because the reality is a good receiver will look Baltimore sideways. I'm like, why am I going there, right? So if you want me to go there, now a Corey Davis, which is a second-tier receiver, you need to pay me like a top-tier receiver. It's the only way you can bring them in Baltimore. And that is a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for mediocrity.
That's where the value, you're not getting what you're paying for. And that's the trap that a lot of these bad organizations fall into in free agency. And I don't see the Ravens doing that, which is why they historically don't spend big money in free agency on guys like that. But since we really don't have many picks as we usually do, and that as much as I know that EDC and Ozzy and the guys are going to want to trade back for more mid-round picks, I really, really like Rashad Bateman. I really like his fit in the offense. He's a big body guy. He makes contested catches. He's familiar with the scheme and the run pass offense. He ran a lot of similar routes in Minnesota that Boykin and Hollywood ran this year. I think he's really the only answer at the receiver position for the state their room is currently. And a lot of guys, like people will say, it's a really young receiving room, but I don't think there's any question about the leadership of the Ravens and especially the Hollywood and the receivers. But I think Bateman is the answer. The only thing that concerns me is he might be gone at 27, and I don't see us trading up. But I think a lot of questions will definitely be answered after the Orlando Brown Jr. trade, like you were saying.
Yeah, and one of the things that I'm worried about is, have you heard much about the Orlando? Once he said, one was official, okay, we're trading Orlando Brown Jr. Have you heard much about it? Not me. So that tells me there's not much out there. I would have thought that the market would have been hot for him. I'm a little concerned. I'm not going to lie. Maybe after free agency, that domino falls. Maybe I haven't seen who the tackles in free agency are, but maybe after free agency, a team gets desperate and says, I need to have that dude. I don't know. Orlando Brown was demanding that he wants to be a left tackle. So I don't know if that also discouraged some teams. I'm not sure. But I would have thought the market for him would have been hot. He's not going to cost you a lot this year. He's going to his prime, healthy, never been injured. So
the market's definitely there for him.
Yeah,
I feel like
should be.
I feel like it's whether or not. I feel like a lot of the left tackles and quarterbacks, I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement on draft night, usually because there's a lot of left tackles and quarterbacks taken in the first round. But you got guys like Darnold and Tua on these teams who also have first-round picks within the top 10. And tackle is also a position of, you always got a couple guys going in the first round. And this year's no exception to that. I think once after the draft and free agency gets a little more rolling, I think he'll be on the move. I think a lot of these big moves will start happening pretty rapidly. And I think he will be moved, and I think we will get mid-round picks for him. I don't think we'll get another player in return.
No,
but I think those picks could definitely be used to address edge, but probably not receiver. Unless
I'm not expecting a player at all. Look, the reality is Jacksonville is a good trade partner, right? They have 2 first-round picks. They need O-line protection if they're going to get Lawrence. That would be perfect, right? That would be perfect. Obviously not the first overall pick, but they can give you, what is it, It's in the 20-something. Miami. They have the 18th overall pick. So if they want to bolster the O-line, there you go. They can give the 18th pick, maybe a third with that. In that,
I don't know if he's worth that though. I think a lot of these. I don't know because he is expiring at the end of the day, so that is where his value comes into question.
He's what is expiring?
On his contract, his rookie deal is expiring, isn't it?
Yeah. But my point for that, so two things. It's expiring next year, right? So this year that the cap actually goes lower, and the notion is the following year we're going to go back to normal. You can keep him in a low number this year. Not only that, think about the Tunsil trade. Tunsil was going same as him last year, the deal. And Tunsil wasn't, in the case of Orlando Brown, he's been a Pro Bowler 2 out of the 3 years, right? So he's been a Pro Bowler here for 2 years out of his 3-year career. That's it. Tunsil has 2 Pro Bowls in 5 or 6 years that he's been in the league. So Tunsil commanded 2 first-round picks, a second, and they sent a 6 because they also got Still. But I mean, that was a money thing. So
that was a big trade. I've seen a couple different places. I don't know off the top of my head, but kind of where that trade gets discredited or thrown out the window a little bit. I'm talking about left tackle value.
But what I'm saying,
the guys who were calling the shots.
Yeah, you can say that, but what I'm saying, that the value that I'm putting on Orlando is not even close to that, because I'm not saying 2 first-round picks and a second. I'm saying a first and a third. And not only that, that first that they gave up, it ended up being a top 5 in the case of Miami that they got for Tunsil. This will be a mid-pick, first-round pick, 18th overall, right? I think that 18th and a third / a fourth, I think that would be good for Orlando Brown. I at least will be disappointed if they don't get at least a first plus something. I think if they don't get at least a first and something, that will be undervalued. Think also about, for example, a guy like Jalen Ramsey got 2 firsts. Those are guys that also were expiring contracts, Pro Bowlers, going into their peak of their careers, right?
That's true, yeah.
And left tackles and right tackles are, after quarterbacks, the most valuable position because they protect the quarterback. So if EDC cannot get at least a first-round pick out of Orlando Brown Jr., I think there's problems.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely think. Yeah, if we did get that first-round pick, I mean, we would almost definitely then trade one of our firsts and get a bunch more mid-round picks. I bet that's where we'd solve the edge problems. Maybe not immediately, but I know Jalen Ferguson's going to have a lot bigger of a role this year, and I do expect us to still draft some guys who won't be of immediate assistance, but down the line will help in the D-line and the edge. So that's pretty much all I had for you. So,
hey, man, thank you for calling. I know you're a first-time caller. We do this every time we brought a live stream, so be sure, to hit that bell, and that way you can stay to know, and then you can call again.
Yes, sir. Love the channel. Keep grinding.
Take care, bro. Hey, guys, thank you. I think this was a really good show. Thank you, everybody that was here participating, that was, active in the chat, the people that called. Thank you for that. If you want to be in the show, as you see, we get new callers. All you have to do in the future is send me a quick text when I put the number. Don't call. Send me a quick text, and I will call you. I will call you when the time is right. So make sure you hit that bell, you hit that like. Also, I'm going to be putting more videos of prospect. Again, I'm not going to try to give you a 30-minute in-depth. I'm going to give you what I saw and what I think if he's a fit. And if I have a comparison, I will tell you. The 2 players that I did review was Pat Fairmouth, or I'm sorry, dude, if I butchered your last name, and Landon Dickerson, center from Alabama. So those 2 videos you should be seeing in the next couple of days. Right now, if you want to see the other 2 prospects that I put there, go check my video on Bateman. Again, these videos are about around 10 minutes, and the other video that I have is on Slater, tackle for Western something. Western Michigan? No, that's not Western Michigan. I'm blanking on the university. He didn't play this year, but that 2019 against Young, that was a great tape. Go check those 2 videos out. I think they're good please make sure you just leave a comment there, whatever you want, because those help rank my videos. I appreciate it if you do that for me. Thank you for joining the live stream. I'll be here next Monday and Tuesday in the AFC North Talk. Come, if you haven't seen the AFC North Talk, it's a great channel. Please make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. Thank you, everybody that was here. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate everybody that's here. Thank you. Have a great night. Peace out. Stay safe.